In GreasePencil mode, we're not limited to the lines and fill layers or the materials that are predefined. We can add additional layers if we need to in the stroke area. So if I go to the stroke area down here, notice the little icon for stroke on the right hand side. There's another icon in this menu down here, and that little icon here shows me the layers, and I can add a new layer in there. So I could add a new layer called a sketch layer, let's say. So I can double click on the title of that and just call that sketch. Okay. And then for that sketch layer, I can set it on top, or I can move it up and down if I need to. So I can use the arrow tools so I can have the sketch go down below other layers if I need to. All right. Likewise, there's the material icon down here, which this little beach ball reddish symbol. We can add our own material settings as well. So I'll hit the plus sign for materials, and I'm going to click new. And for the name of this material, I'm going to call it sketch. And I'm going to give it a stroke type, and I'm going to give it a base color of, let's say, I'm going to increase the whiteness here. And let's go for kind of a red color like this. All right, so now I've got a stretch color that has a stroke but no fill, and a new layer here called sketch. All right, so what I can do now is go into the draw mode, and I can use the sketch material, and I can make sure that I'm on my sketch layer, and I can start sketching, and I can use the pencil tool, I can use the ink pen, the marker, the airbrush tool, whatever I want. So I'm just going to do the pencil tool here, and I'll just do some quick sketching of some lines. Now, I do have the ability to adjust the radius. Remember, we could use the F key to adjust our radius here. So I can get different radiuses for my strokes. Now, on a Macintosh, it's difficult to see the strokes as we're making the strokes. So that's just a sort of a problem with Blender. One way to do it is to put a fill on there. So as I'm sketching with the fill, I can see the line, and then later I can just drop the fill off if I need to. So that way I can sort of see as I'm drawing with the draw mode, I can see where the cursor's going, and I can be doing my sketching, and then I can just turn off that fill layer. All right, so let's say I just want to do some sketches here. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a little circle-y shape and some little eye shapes and a little nose shape. And there's my little sketch. Okay, and so it's very easy for me to create new layers. So I've got a new sketch layer and then a new sketch material, and I can basically sketch any objects that I want to see in my design, and then create other layers to draw over top of those if I need to. Notice I'm all in one collection here, so everything is contained in this scene collection. There's another collection here, and within there is a stroke collection that contains all of these strokes. Now, we do have the ability to create another collection. I can right click up here and say new collection if I want, and create a whole nother collection. And then that whole nother collection can be moved up or down if I need to, and then I could have strokes or elements included in that new collection. But that's a little bit advanced. So for right now, let's just try to stick with one collection that has a stroke, and within that stroke, it has various layers. And then those layers can have basically things drawn on those layers. Now, even though I'm in the sketch layer, I can still draw with other material types. So here, I'm going to try to draw with the dot stroke. So here I'm drawing with the dot stroke you see here. Or I can draw with the solid fill layer. And here's the solid fill layer. And notice all of those are still sort of drawn with the the single sketch layer. So in other words, if I turn off fills and lines, I can still see that the sketch layer, all of those things are on there. Now I'm going to go into edit mode and I'm going to select like this fill. Let's see if I can select that little fill there. And I'm going to say arrange and send to back. And that's going to put that fill back behind the other objects. So even on a particular layer, I only have the sketch layer turned on. I have these three different material types all drawn on this one sketch layer. And then I could rearrange the elements on that layer by selecting some elements using the edit mode. And then I can right click and or two finger click and choose arrange. And I could bring to front, bring forward, send backwards, or send to back within a particular layer. Now this whole sketch layer, however, is below the fills and lines layer here. So if I were to go to object mode, or I'm sorry, let's go to edit mode and select all of these things here. If I were to move those things over, they're going to go over behind the other object because that whole layer is behind the other layers. So this sketch layer is below or behind um, the other stroke layer. So that's why all of these can be arranged and put behind something else.